Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen. I am a digital artist and I have been so inspired by all the Spider-Man fan art that I've been seeing online that it was time to make my own. I have been working on this sketch for a little while now and it is finally time to color it. So here are my 3 favorite methods to save myself time when I am working on coloring and rendering. Now these methods will work for any drawing program, but I will be using them in Procreate. These methods will not only save you time, but it will make your work look more intentional. Okay, now let's get coloring. These are my references for O'Hara. The app that I'm using is called VizRef. It's where you can get all of your inspiration photos in one place. The method that I wanted to use is start with picking a color palette. Consider the scene that you are trying to create. Is it happy, cheerful, and summer vibes, like with light blues, yellows, pinks and yellows, reds, yellows, greens, bright saturated colors? Or you can move into deeper, darker color palettes with blues, purples, and greens. Also, if you're not sure where to get your color palettes, you can do film studies. They are a great way to study how colors create a scene. And if you don't want to study anything, you can always steal them as a reference. Alright, I've picked out my color palette for this piece. I have chosen a couple different references from Into the Spider-Verse, Howl's Moving Castle, and this image I got from Pinterest. All of them have a pretty cohesive color palette with a fun accent here for red, since it is O'Hara's signature color. The next thing that you want to do is you want to block in your shadows. You need to block in your biggest shapes first, preferably with a lasso tool and a big round brush. And then after that, on a multiply layer, I like using red. You want to get a big wide brush to generously make pretty big shapes for your shadows. And if you lower the opacity on your brush, then you can get deeper shadows in deeper saturated reds. Blocking in the shadows, this helps get the scene down quickly, and you can move away from your reference and focus on your image rather than taking all of your cues from your reference. Another time-saving technique that you can do is take your time blocking in shapes. They don't have to be perfect, but the goal is to not have to come back later and change your shapes super frequently. Alright, I will finish blocking in these shapes and I will see you guys in a second. For when you're shading afterwards and when you're using multiple layers, you want to use a clipping mask to make everything nice and neat so that you don't have to go back in later and erase smudges, rough pencil lines, or random blotches of color somewhere outside of your character that you don't notice. I am going to move into my final method for saving time, which is to give your illustration more depth. You want to start using mixer brushes. Procreate has several different ways that you can use a mixer brush. I am using a brush from Arastra's brush pack. His, I think, basic brush pack has a mixer brush that he made specially for all of his illustrations that you can use in Procreate. And if you don't have access to a mixer brush, then you can use the smudge tool, and you can switch the smudge tool to any of the preset brushes in Procreate to give you some nice texture. It's going to give your image depth and dimension with very little effort if you're using a mixture brush, and you can define your shadows more quickly and slowly build up your piece from there. More advanced, which is something I don't do, but some artists in the industry recommend, you can photo bash, which is just taking different pieces from different images and putting it into your image so that you don't have to render, for example, leaves or concrete or fabrics. All of those you can color bash to give yourself more effects and more things to work with, so you don't have to try and draw all the textures in by yourself. Photo bashing is much easier to do in Photoshop than it is in Procreate, but for this image I might try and photo bash, and then I will be moving on to finish Miguel O'Hara because he is Spider-Man 2099, and I, along with the whole internet, have been obsessed with him. So I will see you guys when this illustration is close to finished. For now, you're gonna see a fun time lapse of what I do with the background, and then I will move on to finishing my character. Okay, finishing up this illustration has been so much fun. I absolutely love all the spiders in the new Spider-Verse movie, and I can't wait to be drawing a couple more fan arts in the future. And also, now you have a couple tools to use in your art making journey. And if you were following along, I hope you made something new and exciting that you can show. Thank you so much for watching. I hope these tips really help you create something amazing and Procreate. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, friends.